awesome when two of your favorite characters actually find a way to come together and make something even more powerful and awesome. Kind of like Gogeta. We don't have a Gogeta, so we have a Vegito. Haha! This time with more black hair. Shouldn't there be brown in there? Alright guys, so let's take a look at the new version of Vegito, and this is of course just the non-Super Saiyan Blue version, or even Super Saiyan version. It's going to be virtually identical to the one we looked at before with the Super Saiyan Blue hair. In fact, other than the face sculpt where he's got the open mouth, he is exactly the same. So let's go ahead and open him up. It just says Vegito right there, $22.99 because GameStop. Ooh, I didn't realize I got so many points for that. Yay. And you got a cool shot of him here. And this shows off one of my main problems with this figure. He's lacking his kind of hair design. But let's come back here and we come up just a little bit. We got Future Trunks and we got Vegito and we got Goku Black right there in this wave. So I think in the end run, this is going to be my favorite figure, but we'll see what happens with Trunks. Of course, this is the second wave right here. So we'll take a look at all those as we go. And of course, Broly is the end result. So let's get after it. All right, so let's take a look at the Fused Saiyan here. Honestly, I kind of like it. It's a little weird to see Super Saiyan hair that's not any other color. It's just black. It's a little bit funny. And yes, he is a straight up basic repaint with a different face. That's a yelling Goku face, if I had to guess. But there he is with Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. I wish I set it up exactly the same way. Yeah, that's definitely like a pissed off Goku face, for sure. Where this is just calm and relaxed Goku face. So, there's that. And yep, I like the flat black hair. I'm not gonna lie. Like the shiny Super Saiyan hair is cool, but the flat black hair, I dig it. For the most part, he's exactly the same, except for some not so great paintwork there. So obviously, this is I'm guessing that's just orange paint splash because I'm fairly certain this is all blue plastic painted over, or maybe it is all orange plastic. Gohan was orange underneath, so maybe it's orange and the blue is painted on. That's scratches. Either way, looks pretty cool. You got the Patara earrings in there, just like you do on the original. Looks pretty good. The sword hand effect is exactly the same. All the things are exactly the same, except when you come down to the toes. We have a difference here. This one's yellow, this one's green. Part of me wonders if that's just because he went Super Saiyan Blue, and for some reason that affected his costume in a way. Kind of like the way that Goku Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken was affected. In a most ridiculous fashion possible. So, there's the two together. It's very silly to get the same thing twice for a different head sculpt. I've been saying this now for a couple episodes. But let's go ahead and throw out a Goku here. You can see that, a lot, and I brought this up before, a lot of similarities between the Super Saiyan hairs. And I think I'm going to start doing what I did with Gohan on a lot of these and start trimming off the back of the hair to give a little more head motion up, because they do all seem to have the problem of wanting to look down. So that boot is not wanting to cooperate. This Goku is one of the looser figures I've got. And let's compare to Gohan, which I believe I discovered before is the exact same mold for the body. And it's only when you get down to the feet that it is different. So there's our Super Saiyan Gohan, who actually had no part in the fight that Vegito came from, because that was all super future. Yeah, see, look, just getting that extra little head width there totally makes a difference. But now that I've got both versions of Vegito, I need some versions of Zamasu. So, gonna have to do that in the future. Let's go ahead and pull these guys out of here. By the way, my desk is definitely covered with all of my Dragon Ball figures. And here he is with just straight up Vegeta. And you can see like that center tuft of hair is very, very similar. A little bit less built up. I like to think that basically the hair is just built up of clumps of different sets of hair or chunks of hair parts, and they just start with one and then they build outward from there. Like it's not necessarily a brand new sculpt every time. They're literally just like kit bashing to make make some more hair. I find that very amusing, to be honest. But there's these two guys together, and yeah, once again, I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim off some of the neck hairs back here, just so the head can move a little bit more. He does move okay. I'm kind of skipping articulation on these repeat figures because they're identical, so there's like no point in doing articulation for these. And I also wish that the wrist, like, because the wrist is ball joint mounted, I wish that it could turn back. Like, you could never do a proper Kamehameha pose because you can't turn the wrist upward. You can just move it around, basically. But overall, Vegito is a cool character and cool figure. Very, very short-lived, especially in this version where the Pataras have a limit for some strange reason. But let's go ahead and look at his Build-A-Figure part, because we've got a Broly arm here, a left arm of La Broly. Big, buff, ridiculous Broly. And it does come with an open palm, like you do. And just for another comparison real quick, there he is next to Big Buff Jiren. So, I mean, overall, you know, you've got extra hands like you do. I'm just going to have a pile of Dragon Ball hands laying around. I'm going to leave, I like the beam effect because it's one of the few that has an effect. So I'm going to leave it on him. And it's not even the last time we're going to see this kind of effect in play in this wave of characters. So it's kind of funny. But as it goes, it's kind of cool. Now, I am going to modify this one because he needs like the red or brownish highlights. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to mix up some custom brownish paint and just do the highlights to the hair. I'm not going to include it in this video because I'm not going to have time. I might do it later. We'll see what happens with my day. But kind of like how I was modifying this Goku with shading, and then what I'm going to do with Broly with shading his thing. I might do all of that and then add it in later. Kind of think that Vegeta might need a little bit of highlights, but his hair actually kind of works because his hair is pretty much just jet black. So we'll see what happens. But I think that this version, because it is kind of characteristic, is not just black hair. For some reason, there's a little bit of red or brown in there. So I think he does need at least some streaking or some highlights along the edges, something like that to make it stand out. I mean, you see it on the box, wherever I put the box. I mean, you see it right there. So, I mean, basically just going to do that same thing. He looks a lot more like Gohan there. He doesn't just the stuff coming out the front. Either way, I like the figure. If you like the figure, give me a big old thumbs up. This is actually a really quick review, obviously, because there's not a lot going on. Hit that subscribers button if you like what I'm doing here, if you want to stick around and check it out. I'm doing a lot more figures this year versus previous years because it's just the new thing I do. So if you like the figures and stuff like that, but of course you're here for the Gundam stuff, by all means, please stick around and check out all the reviews. That's all I can ask. But if you want to help support the channel in other ways, you can check out the Patreon or buy a Shoky shirt, all of which is on the screen and in the description down below. But I will see you guys on that next review. And remember, as always, to keep on nerding.